Electric vehicles. They're sleek, silent, and supposedly saving the planet one Tesla at a time. The future of transportation, right? Well, tell that to the auto parts workers staring down unemployment lines. See, while Silicon Valley types are busy dreaming up self-driving cars, the folks who actually build those cars are facing a harsh new reality. The transition to EVs is hitting them hard, and it's not pretty. Buckle up, kids, because we're diving into the messy, complicated, and often hilarious world of EVs and the people they're leaving behind. Remember those old car commercials? The ones with burly dudes proudly bolting engines together? Yeah, those engines are going the way of the dinosaurs, and so are the jobs that come with them. See, EVs have fewer parts, which means fewer workers are needed to build them. And the workers who are needed? They need a whole new set of skills. It's like telling a mechanic to suddenly become a software engineer. It's not impossible, but it's definitely not a walk in the park. So, we've got auto parts workers, many of whom have been doing the same job for decades, suddenly finding themselves out of work. And trust me, have you tried learning to code? Is not the answer they want to hear.
Honk if you support retraining, not unemployment.
You'd think with all the hype around EVs, everyone would be ditching their gas guzzlers and going electric, right? The media is buzzing with stories about the latest electric vehicle models, and it seems like every other commercial is touting the benefits of going green. From sleek designs to promises of zero emissions, the allure of EVs is hard to ignore. But is the reality living up to the hype? Wrong. Turns out, EV adoption is about as smooth as a cross-country road trip in a clown car. While some early adopters are cruising along in their silent, battery-powered rides, many others are hitting speed bumps. The infrastructure just isn't there yet in many parts of the country. Imagine planning a road trip and realizing halfway through that there are no charging stations for miles. It's a logistical nightmare. Some places, like California, are practically giving away EVs with incentives and charging stations on every corner. The Golden State is leading the charge, so to speak, with aggressive policies and a robust network of charging stations. It's not uncommon to see entire fleets of electric cars zipping around Los Angeles or San Francisco. The state government has even set ambitious targets to phase out gasoline cars entirely in the coming decades. Meanwhile, other places are stuck in the slow lane, with gas stations outnumbering charging stations 10 to 1. In rural areas and smaller towns, the story is quite different. Here, the sight of an EV is still a rarity, and finding a charging station can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. The disparity is glaring, and it raises questions about how equitable the transition to electric vehicles will be. It's a classic case of location, 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 but instead of real estate, we're talking about the fate of an entire industry. Urban centers are racing ahead, while rural areas lag behind. This uneven adoption could create a patchwork of haves and have-nots, where access to clean transportation is determined by your zip code. It's a challenge that policymakers and industry leaders will need to address if they want to see widespread EV adoption. And let's be real, not everyone can afford a Tesla, even with all the incentives in the world. The high upfront cost of electric vehicles remains a significant barrier for many consumers. While prices are gradually coming down and more affordable models are hitting the market, the perception that EVs are a luxury item persists. For many families, the idea of switching to an electric car is still out of reach financially. So, while Elon Musk is off launching himself into space, the rest of us are stuck navigating this bumpy EV transition one pothole at a time. The road to widespread EV adoption is fraught with challenges, from infrastructure gaps to economic barriers. But despite these hurdles, the momentum is undeniable. As technology advances and policies evolve, the dream of a fully electric future inches closer to reality. Until then, buckle up and prepare for a bumpy ride. The government knows about the EV transition. They're well aware of the challenges and opportunities that come with moving from traditional gasoline-powered vehicles to electric ones. This shift is not just about changing the type of cars we drive, it's about transforming an entire industry. They've even thrown some money at the problem, allocating funds to support this massive change. From grants to loans, they're trying to ease the financial burden on both consumers and manufacturers. Because what's a good crisis without a little government intervention? It's almost a tradition at this point. Whenever there's a significant shift or a crisis, the government steps in with policies and funding, hoping to steer the ship in the right direction. We're talking subsidies for EV buyers, tax breaks for manufacturers, and incentives for companies to build more charging stations. These measures are designed to make electric vehicles more accessible and affordable for everyone, and even some funding for worker retraining programs. The idea is to help current auto workers transition to new roles in the EV industry. This includes everything from learning how to build electric motors to understanding the software that runs these high-tech vehicles. But let's be honest, government programs are about as efficient as a herd of cats trying to assemble a car. There's paperwork, red tape, and a maze of regulations that can slow down even the most straightforward initiatives. And enough bureaucratic jargon to make your head spin. Terms like fiscal stimulus, regulatory compliance, and public-private partnerships are thrown around, often leaving the average person scratching their head. And while some workers are benefiting from these programs, gaining new skills and certifications, many are falling through the cracks. The reality is that not everyone can easily adapt to new technologies or find the time to attend training sessions. Many are falling through the cracks, struggling to keep up with the rapid changes. They find themselves in a tough spot, caught between an industry that's evolving and a skill set that's becoming obsolete. It's a classic case of too little, too late. The programs are there, but they're not always timely or sufficient. By the time some workers get the help they need, the industry has already moved on. With a side of, we'll get back to you after you fill out these forms in triplicate. The bureaucratic process can be slow and cumbersome, adding another layer of frustration for those who are already struggling.
We are committed to supporting workers through this transition, but the process takes time. It's not just about providing funds, it's about creating a comprehensive support system that includes training, job placement, and ongoing education, and cooperation from all parties involved. This means government agencies, private companies, and educational institutions must work together to ensure a smooth transition. It's a complex puzzle, but with the right pieces in place, it's possible to navigate this change successfully.
Section 5. Adapt or Die, the auto parts supplier's tightrope walk. In the ever-evolving landscape of the automotive industry, suppliers find themselves walking a precarious tightrope. The decisions they make today will determine their survival in a rapidly changing market. Remember those auto parts workers facing unemployment? Their livelihoods hang in the balance as the industry shifts beneath their feet. The uncertainty is palpable and the stakes have never been higher. Well, spare a thought for the companies that employ them. These businesses are grappling with monumental decisions that could make or break them. The pressure is immense, and the future is anything but certain. Auto parts suppliers are caught in a game of high-stakes limbo. They must navigate a complex web of market demands, technological advancements, and economic pressures. It's a delicate balance, and one wrong move could spell disaster. Do they stick with the familiar but fading world of gas-powered cars? This option offers a sense of security, but it's a shrinking market. The demand for traditional vehicles is waning, and the writing is on the wall. Or do they take a flying leap into the unknown world of EVs? It's a tough call, fraught with risks and uncertainties. The electric vehicle market is growing, but it's still in its infancy. Investing in EVs requires significant capital and a leap of faith. It's kind of like choosing between pineapple on pizza. You either love it or hate it, and there's no in-between. The decision is polarizing, and there's no guarantee of success. The debate rages on within the industry. Some argue that sticking with gas-powered cars is the safer bet, while others believe that embracing EVs is the only way forward. The tension is palpable, and the stakes are incredibly high.
Some companies are going all in on EVs and investing in new equipment and retraining their workforce. They see the potential for growth and are willing to take the risk. These pioneers are betting on a future where electric vehicles dominate the market. Others are hedging their bets, trying to straddle both worlds. They maintain production lines for both traditional and electric vehicles, hoping to capture market share in both segments. It's a cautious approach, but it comes with its own set of challenges. And then there are those that are just, well, let's just say they're not long for this world. These companies are struggling to adapt, and their days may be numbered. The harsh reality is that not everyone will survive this transition. It's a Darwinian struggle for survival, where only the fittest will thrive. The industry is undergoing a seismic shift, and those who fail to adapt will be left behind. The most adaptable companies are investing in new technologies and upskilling their workforce. They understand that innovation is key to survival. These forward-thinking businesses are positioning themselves for success in a rapidly changing market. Collaboration and innovation are the cornerstones of their strategy. By working together and embracing new ideas, they are navigating the challenges of the industry and paving the way for a brighter future. The road ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear: the auto parts suppliers who can adapt and innovate will be the ones who thrive. It's a tightrope walk, but with the right balance, they can make it to the other side. In the end, it's about more than just survival. It's about seizing opportunities and shaping the future of the automotive industry. The journey is challenging, but the rewards are worth the effort. As the industry continues to evolve, the auto parts suppliers who embrace change and drive innovation will lead the way. They are the pioneers of a new era, and their success will inspire others to follow. The future is bright for those who dare to take the leap. With determination and resilience, they will overcome the challenges and emerge stronger than ever. The auto parts suppliers' tightrope walk is a testament to the power of adaptability and innovation.
Section 6, from brake pads to batteries, industry players making the switch. Okay, so the EV transition is messy, but it's not all doom and gloom. There are some bright spots, some glimmers of hope in this electrified future. Companies that were once known for making brake pads are now churning out batteries. Software engineers are the new rock stars of the auto industry. And yes, some auto parts workers are finding new, exciting jobs in this brave new world. It's not always easy, and it takes guts to embrace change. But it's happening. It's like that old saying goes, when one door closes, another one opens. Or in this case, when the gas tank runs dry, plug in your electric dreams. Okay, maybe that's not how the saying goes, but you get the point. Section 7. EV trade wars. China's charging ahead, but is it a fair race? Hold on to your hats, folks, because things are about to get geopolitical. China, the land of everything from cheap knockoffs to cutting-edge technology, is also a major player in the EV game. In fact, they're kind of kicking butt and taking names. They've got the factories, the resources, and the government support to become the global EV superpower. And that's got some people worried, especially in countries where the auto industry is a big deal. Cue the trade wars, the tariffs, and the accusations of unfair competition. It's a tangled web of economics, politics, and national pride, all vying for a piece of the EV pie. Stay tuned, because this is one reality show you won't want to miss. Section 8. Betting on the future. Big bucks and bold ideas in the EV market. Despite the challenges, there's a lot of money pouring into the EV market. We're talking billions with a B. Big automakers are scrambling to catch up with Tesla. Startups are popping up like mushrooms after a rainstorm, and everyone's looking for the next big thing.
It's like the Wild West out there, with investors throwing money at anything that moves, or in this case, anything that runs on electricity. Some of these bets will pay off, some will flop, and some will probably end up as cautionary tales. But one thing's for sure, the future of transportation is electric, and it's going to be a wild ride.
Section 9. From factory floor to tech frontier, new opportunities for auto workers. So, what does all this mean for the average auto parts worker? Well, it's not all bad news. Sure, some jobs will be lost, but new ones are being created.
And these aren't your grandpa's factory jobs. We're talking about jobs in software development, battery technology, and even electric motor design. It's a chance for workers to learn new skills, upgrade their resumes, and be a part of something big. Think of it as a career makeover with a side of saving the planet. Not bad, right?
Section 10. The road ahead. Navigating the EV transition with grit and a little humor. The EV transition is a bumpy road, full of potholes, detours, and the occasional wrong turn. But it's a journey we need to take, for the sake of the planet and for the future of the auto industry. And while it's easy to get bogged down in the challenges, it's important to remember that humans are incredibly adaptable creatures. We've overcome bigger obstacles in the past, and we'll overcome this one too. And hey, if we can't laugh at the absurdity of it all, then what's the point? So buckle up, keep your sense of humor handy, and let's navigate this electrifying future together. Section 11. Conclusion. Buckle up, it's going to be a bumpy, but electrifying, ride. The EV revolution is here, Whether we're ready for it or not, it's messy, it's complicated, and it's going to have some casualties along the way. But it's also an opportunity for innovation, job creation, and a cleaner, greener future. So, let's embrace the chaos, support the workers who are struggling, and get ready for a wild ride into the electric age. And hey, if all else fails, we can always start a new reality show, Extreme Makeover Auto Industry Edition. Now that's something I'd watch.